G'day legends and welcome back to PommyInOz. We've heard it all season. Carlton need a point of difference, some real spark, someone who can break the script and get this side humming. Well, today we're going to look if that wild card is already in the club. Today we're going to look at the form of Ashton Moir, his X-factor, what he potentially could bring, and why he could unlock the Blues attack. We're going to break down the midfield issues, go through Moir's development, and show exactly how he could be used to change the narrative for the Navy Blues. So settle in, hit that like button, make sure you hit the subscribe, and let's see what Ashton Moir could bring to the Blues. Now, before we talk about Ashton Moir, let's address the elephant in the room. Carlton's midfield and its attack is spluttering, and the stats don't lie. 13 for stoppage scores for a side that has built its side around its dominance there. 12 for centre bounce scores, 12 for change scores, dead last for shots per inside 50 and scores per inside 50. And let's not talk about the kick rating, 18th. So even when the ball does go forward, it's not silk. And if you're thinking, surely we move it quick when we win it back, to think again. Carlton are one of the lowest scoring sides from the back half of the ground and one of the slowest sides at moving the ball. But at least we're solid at stopping the opposition. When you look at Carlton's pace with the ball, it is quite high. But there is no impetus. Our ball movement at times is slow, lateral, predictable, and stuck somewhere in 2023. When contested footy was king and leg speed was an optional extra, you watched last week, it was like looking at football from the future that Paul were playing. Sharp ball use, slashing pace, lightning midfielders. Meanwhile, our midfield only has one player in the top 30 for score involvements. That's George Hewitt. The best known for his defensive grunt is suddenly our most dynamic option. It says it all when the club spent a fortune on Zach Williams for his pace and potential dash, then promptly parked him in the forward pocket. And he's lost all the keys. Jesse Morlob, he's getting runs in the centre square. For spark, doesn't quite ignite, does it? It genuinely feels like Carlton's midfield is running in quicksand and the league has flipped the script. So if we're going to unlock the side's potential, we need to find someone who offers something different. And that's where Ashton Moir's form in VFL opens up the conversation. So who is Ashton Moir? Why do Blues fans have a glint in the eye whenever his name pops up? Well, you'll remember the draft profiles we did about him. We were hot on him on this show. Ashton Moir is a definition of raw talent with serious X-factor. If you look at his moments, he's strong in the air, takes contact and stands up in big moments in his draft. Exceptionally high IQ. He sees the game unfold. And he's dual-footed, happy off his left and right, which makes him a nightmare to defend because he can change the angles and makes it very hard to spoil his kicks. And his vision, he's not afraid to pull the trigger. He's very bold and he likes to open up the attack. And he plays with that instinct. And the big question mark on him this year has been his application in VFL. Early in the VFL, he was trialled as that lead-up forward as he was drafted. You know, that Jack Martin role, providing another target and being that extra. But recently, we have seen him presenting at ground level, working in the stoppages. That knock of the work rate and engine was a real big thing in the draft time. And we saw last year him playing out on the wing. And Moir can be quite lazy at times by the eye. If he's not engaged early, he just switch off. And that's why I've really enjoyed there's been a shift with him being played on the wing and then flashing into on the ball and resting at half forward. This big change came when he started rotating through the midfield as kind of that fourth string on-baller that plays out wide and is the outlet. Since that move, Moir's numbers have actually improved. So far, in the last couple of games, we've seen him averaging 17 touches, 10 kicks, 7 handballs, 76.5 disposal efficiency, incredibly clean with it, 8.5 contested possessions, 4.5 clearances, winning his own ball and getting it going. But the big point, 3 goals per game with 4.5 marks, showing a little bit more physicality and a little bit of getting in. The upshot here is Carlton have found a way to get him engaged and keep him in there, and that allows him to deliver. Now let's talk about his most recent game. This is where the pass map comes in. And it's a glimpse of what makes Moir unique for Carlton's midfield system. If you look here, the map here will show some little colours. So let's break it down for you. Moir's most recent performance has real showcases of something to froth about, and why it's exactly the kind of boldness that Carlton need to kind of change this stagnant kind of ball movement out. So if you look at the blue arrows, they're the 4 goals that he scored, direct scoreboard impact from foot. So he was very strong here at ghosting forward. Now the yellow ones, I want you to look at this. This is where he's hit the target. Now this isn't a disposal efficiency. This is Pom's disposal efficiency. Actually hit a target, the player hasn't had to do anything. The orange ones are where he has hit a target, but by the fault of the player he's hit, it hasn't been quite perfect. So kind of sometimes them kind of like shallow kicks. And the red, the classic ineffective ones. So you can see here where Moir has taken the bold options. He's not just padding stats and chipping sideways, which we are very guilty of. He's looking to take the game on. He's always looking to take the game on. As you can see, not a single backwards or safety kick on the map. Multiple kicks out into space, changing the angles, launching chains from the guts or out in the wing. And when under pressure, he still pulls the trigger, backing his skills in and his vision to create something out of nothing. And this is what Carlton kind of are looking for to separate from their current stagnant way. At the minute, the Blues are trying to find the ball and get the hands into the players you wouldn't think. Carlton's highest receivers of handball receives are players like Doherty, Hewitt and Chera. Chera, decent ball user, but these two, Doc and Hewitt, are the last two people you think are going to change the game with X-factor or leg speed. When you compare it to other teams who are high handball receivers, they're players like Finn Callaghan, Nick Dacos, Bailey Smith, Zach Butters, midfielders who can hurt or change it up with that second touch. The guys that break lines and make you pay. Right now, Motlop has been having the majority of the run. Zach Williams in the last couple of weeks has shown glimpses of the modern game needs a little bit of foot skills. He's still a little bit rusty at the minute. He hasn't done it for a while. But the general mix so far in the league is a bull, an accumulator, and at least 2 points of difference. You know, dynamism. Moir, he's that wildcard player. A player who, in my opinion, like the pass map, is showing a type of instinct that has a bit of natural flair. Carlton desperate needs someone to play his role, who wants to come in and also change the game. And the point of difference is something that is incredibly huge for the Blues in that midfield makeup. So what would he look like if Ashton came in as kind of that midfield 4/5 rotation? The best blueprint I can think of at the minute is someone like the Western Bulldogs. They have built a centre core of players like Bontempelli, Libba and Kennedy. Big bodies that set the tone. But the point of difference comes from the players they float through there. Players like Riley Rest, Joel Frazier. He would be a really good example. Now, why do I pick on Joel? Top 5 for agility was Ashton Moir. Surprisingly nimble from his height and also being quite damaging in his touches. The big point of difference is their engine, but they share similar tools. Very quick from a standing start, very explosive, love to take the game on, are very strong aerially. And if you look at Frazier in this, he gets about 20% on-ball time coming out wide. He could seamlessly step into the minutes by depreciating Motlop and Doc and Akers with more genuine upside, in my opinion, than attacking roles. Look at Frazier's CBA split, about 20% centre of bounce. He drifts forward, he plays out wide. It's not a massive role, but it allows them to create a little bit of unpredictability without damaging the structure. And for Carlton, this is what they're missing. They've tried to get that movement in with Zach Williams. You could maybe look elsewhere. Ben Camporelli, Ollie Hollands, Adam Sard in bursts. But Carlton do need a target man and someone that can play out wide, do that Akers role, but also offer a point of difference. With Ashton, you're getting a player over the last 2 weeks that has shown direct running lanes. There's a real Tuke Miller about him around stoppage. He likes to break through congestion, force opposition to react, take a body, then handball to another runner. That's the spark. Instead of slow, predictable chains and playing around the ball, Carlton could actually hurt teams on transition. Move the ball quickly, and this is another area where Carlton fall off. When the team is the most vulnerable when we transition the ball, we are too slow. If you can give Ashton that 25%, let him rest at half forward, You're going to get some dynamism in the middle, a creative ball user that can kick off both feet, and an extra marking option who can hit a target and put it in a hot zone, and a drift forward type player. The modern game demands midfielders who can both win it, but also burn it and use something on the outside. And we've got to curve our expectations. Ashton isn't the finished product. He's got that rare profile, though, that the Blues are missing. And this is how you add a point of difference. The talent in the VFL is building, but it's very important that Carlton take their time and give game time to it. Now, let's talk about the potential upside. What would Ashton look like in here? If the success here over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, is let Moir play. Give him no pressure of being dropped, and let's see if he can nail this mid-forward rotation. If he plays around 80% in the forward half on the midfield, on the wing, and picks around 16 touches per week, with over a third of them being these corridor kicks inside 50, you'd be seeing an improvement of around 3 to 5 inside 50s per game. Grab a couple of clearances here and there, and then also be that problem up forward. There's a reason he was a legitimate first round, not just a prospect, because he's got it. So let's have a look at a stat line prediction. If we can get 8 games with 14.5 touches, 4 inside 50s, a goal a game, 5 marks, and the disposal hovers somewhere between 70 to 80%, because we want him to take the risks and back his skill. The media narrative will shift and our narrative will shift. Carlton have unleashed an X-factor dynamic midfielder. Moir's dynamic kicking, his ability to hit the scoreboard and ball use could give Blues a fresh look, and they need to look more unpredictable. For fans, the buzz is obvious. Suddenly, there is someone that comes in and takes a risk, and that's what we're crying out for. Someone that can open the forward line and create something. The best bit, I don't feel like he needs to be a 30-possession player. We've got them accumulators. We need someone that's going to take the hard work from them and turn it into half chances and convert them into goals or assists. And if that happens, Carlton's entire attacking dynamic changes. Instead of just hoping that Kerno or whoever we play full forward kicks a rabbit out of the hat, you've got a legitimate third, fourth threat who can keep opposition backlines guessing. And that is something that Carlton are desperate for to get out of second gear. This could be a real difference. Instead of a what-if year, Carlton could turn this into a what-now year. And let's be clear, we're not talking about fairy tale just yet. We're looking for Ashton to make real strides and say, we've got it. He's still got a fair way to go. His biggest criticism remains that, does he have the tank to run out a game at AFL Place? Will he bring the same effort defensively off the ball as he does attacking? And can he impact the game when the game's not going his way? To his credit, Ashton has shown growth, and he's covered more work. He's looked very impressive out wide, and his work around stoppage is started to crack and really look like he can do it. These next 8 weeks, though, it's really important that the development is meaningful. What Carlton can't afford to do is what we always do with these kids, and treat Ashton as a stopgap. And what I mean by that is plug him now into a third forward position for the entire game after he's spent the last month building up his midfield minutes. You can't just throw him in where you hope he can play. You've got to play him where he's had the trial. At times, Carlton will do things like play him in the forward pocket. It's almost like watching an actor do the dress rehearsal in a different role, and then come role night, he's doing something else. We've got to see if Ashton can sink or swim as a midfielder. Give him that run, trust he can grow, and see what he's actually got. With 8 weeks left and a limited draft hand, Carlton have got to find answers to fill these holes. And if we're using Ben Camporelli as an inside mid, Ashton Moir as this outside-inside runner, this could be a potential list changer moving into 2025's draft. Carlton suddenly have the answers for things that are already in the cupboard instead of going out and buying new. He won't get anywhere near it for me if he's been shuffled from pillar to post. Back him in the middle, let him play his game till the season's end, and let's see what we've got. We don't want, again, like I keep saying, a what-if story. We want to see a what now. And that's how you reset and evolve. I hate the rebuild word. Let the best players put their best foot forward in the roles they've been dress rehearsing in the VFL. So there it is, Ashton Moir. Not the finished article, but someone that is showing glimpses of the spark that could help the Blues find what they're missing. And there's only one way you'll find out. Give him the run in the role that he's succeeding in, and let him sink or swim and show him what he's made of. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Voss back him in for the rest of the year? Or do you want someone else to step up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any great AFL content. Until next time, up the baggers, keep the faith. Pom out.